Starting five brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet. Cebu will start off with the backcourt of Brian Meca, Paulo Hubalde, up front, Ken Hombes, Mian Martel, and Jan Hamon. For Nueva Ecija, the Turber Twins, JV and JC, together with Jam Ramito, Rob Celis, and Big Bang Toto, Byron Villarias. And may technical foul lit dito, no? Against Cebu because they only have 7 players in uniform.
Yeah, this has been the trend over the last I think month and a half already para sa Cebu Classic. But, you know, I mentioned at the top of our coverage that it's been, they have been experiencing some positive changes to their management, to their ownership. So makikita natin yung mga pagbabago na yon in the next few days. But right now, dahil nga hindi pa sila nakaka-complete nung transition, ito po muna yung mga makikita nyong players sa laro na to.
By the way, our referees for this ball game, Jay Castroverde, Ariel Arce, EJ Carase, and their fourth man is Ray Gabriel. Cebu Classic getting a stop on the first possession of Nueva Ecija, but they turn the ball over. JC Marcelino off to the races. Can't hit it, and a pushing foul called on Jam Ramito.
Now the challenge now for Cebu in this game is how they are gonna balance and spread out their energy throughout this game. Having only 7 players on their lineup for this game, going up against a very experienced and very determined Nueva Ecija squad who doesn't look like they're gonna take a back seat in terms of their effort and energy trying to gun for their 16th straight win.
And by the way, coaching today for Cebu is Paulo Hubalde as Jam Ramito floats it up and in to get the first field goal para dito sa Nueva Ecija.
You're right. The only guy on their bench right now is team manager John Santos. That's their new team manager right now. And Cebu will now be owned by a new team owner who's hailing from Cebu mismo.
Yeah.
He takes over the ownership reins of this squad, and I believe magbabago na rin sila ng pangalan, but that's gonna happen maybe in the next few days pa.
Play of the game brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet.
I expect Nueva Ecija to try and tire out this depleted Cebu roster in this game. Of course, at the front runners of that ploy will be the twin turbo, JC and JV.
Ubalde gets it to Bral Meca, crossing the half-court line as Nueva Ecija trying to amp on the pressure. Paulo Ubalde though gets to the cup and scores.
Just able to split the defense there. Did not have control of the basketball when he received it, but still manages to get to the cup.
Get another crack at it. Jam Ramito steps back over Kem Hombes. 4 early points for Jam Ramito.
One of Nueva Ecija's key off-season acquisitions. Ito si Jam Ramito.
That's a good inside incursion from Ken Hombes. 8-4 Nueva Ecija early.
So sila na lang ni Dolan Adlawan yung magiging sentro ngayon sa game na to ng Cebu Classic. So I expect Hombes to make the most out of this opportunity and try to have a good game in this one against Nueva Ecija. Although that's going to be easier said than done coming up against this loaded front line of the Rice Vanguards.
JV Marcelino scores inside the paint. Martel on the other side lays it up and in.
You could see the difference as well in the body language and the attitude as well as the energy for Cebu in this game. Dito pa lang sa umpisa, makikita mo that they don't look disgruntled at all. And in fact, they're actually trying to play with a lot more pride in this one. Trying to wear that Cebu jersey with honor.
Here's a homegrown. Brian Meca whips it to Martel. When Hombes, no hesitation, left it short though from beyond the arc. Rob Celis. Martel able to disrupt him. But Nueva Ecija retains possession. Villarias Can't convert at may tulak na naman na nahuli laban dito sa Nueva Ecija.
Yeah, that's gonna go against Robbie Celis. Second team foul now para sa Nueva Ecija.
Jadon Dulay still at the helm in his second season with the Rice Vanguards. Numbers here. Ken Holmqvist gets the basket plus a foul.
Good control coming from Holmqvist there. Martel making the right decision, dropping it off to his fellow big man on the break, drawing the foul. Ito si Ken Holmqvist.
Fast break of the game brought to you by Extreme X Pop, personal karaoke speaker, everyday karaoke. That one rolls through for Ken Holmqvist. 5 early points. 13-9. Nueva Ecija with a 4-point lead. Floater by JC, doesn't work. JV swing pass to Byron Villarias, who cans that free.
He just needs a little space to launch that from the outside. One of the best shooters the MPBL has ever seen, Byron Villarias.
7-point lead for Nueva Ecija. Paulo Hubalde. His version of a free. And back to a 4-point lead.
I'm sure that Paulo Hubalde will have the stat sheet stuffed this game para sa Cebu. Despite him being out for the Classic for more than a month, he still has been staying in shape.
Mekado was blocked by Byron Villarias. Celis. And Hamon grabs the rebound. Holmqvist able to stand his ground. Hubalde on the right side against JC. Hubalde puts it up, thought he was fouled. Bral Meka offensive rebound. Hamon fades away and gets that one to trickle in.
Another sign that these Cebu guys are definitely in a much better position in this game. You can see that in previous games, hahayaan na lang nila yung loose ball na yun. They pretty much did not care at all about what the score was their past few games dahil sa mga nangyayari. But now in this game, they're really trying to keep it step with the Rice Vanguards, and I think that's the initial challenge para sa kanila so that they could give themselves a chance of winning it in the end.
Hubalde got fouled while he took that shot. So 3 free throws coming up for the Aquaman. Dolan Adlawan comes in for Lian Martel past the halfway point of the first period. Hubalde, his last game was back in May 6 against Rizal. And if you remember that game, Javi, he had a big third quarter and sat out the entire fourth.
Yeah, that was really very peculiar to me because he had 19 points in 3 quarters and did not see action at all in that final frame. And he was actually the reason why Cebu was actually able to catch up to the Golden Coolers entering the 4th quarter. And it was just weird that he did not see action anymore.
18-14 is the score. Inside, Robbie Celis, short. Cebu playing as well as they could here in the first quarter. What a bounce pass! Adlawan though was not ready to receive it. Maging siya nagulat dun.
It could have been an easy 2 points para sa Cebu in that opportunity. If you're playing with Paulo Hubalde, you better be ready every time, anytime you're on the court.
And the newest acquisition of Nueva Ecija now marks his return in the MPBL, Nick Demuses. Also played for Bacoor before. That was way back before the pandemic.
Yeah, and that was before siya nagpa-draft sa PBA where he was picked by Phoenix.
He gets that pass to Byron Villarias, issues his first assist here as a Rice Vanguard. But quickly on the other end, Dolan Adlawan with a basket.
Paulo Hubalde is just so good in transition. He sees the whole floor, and even if he's not looking at you, he can make that pass wherever you are.
Homevis towers over JV for the rebound. Ral Meca can't finish. Forward pass, JV. Again, against Homevis. This time he wins that battle. And Homevis a bit frustrated as he gave up a basket. 3 minutes and 35 seconds left. A 7-point lead for Nueva Ecija.
Check this one out. Nice use of the deceleration right there. Galing kay JV Marcelino. Not because it doesn't mean you're fast that you can be fast all the time.
Along the way, and this is one of the reasons for their acquisition of Nick Demuses and JP Calvo. Since attending the practices, Coach Don admits the level of play and competitiveness has gone up, even though they already had pretty competitive practices before. That's what happens when two experienced and talented players join the team. Coach Don needs Nick's energy, athleticism, and defense, while JP is already a court general with a lot of speed and scoring ability. He said these two can easily become part of the first five, but part of what he had to tell them about the Nueva Ecija culture is this: you need to work hard for that. Ken Harris.
Maraming salamat, Sid, and certainly a welcome additions to this already stacked roster of Coach Don Dulay. And you know, if you watch Nick Demuses, he's the type of guy that, you know, if kung ano yung kailangan ng team, kaya niyang punan, Javi.
You're right. And he has no problems trying to work his way up the rotation right now para kay Coach Don Dulay. He understands that he comes in as a new recruit in the rotation of Don Dulay, already somewhere at this point of the season. But dahil nga sa kultura that Coach Don has proudly talked about this season for Nueva Ecija, it's an equal opportunity culture. So whoever is doing a good job, siya ang papasok.
LGR is the official outfitter of the MPBL. And JP Calvo, if he can regain that form that he had when he played for the South Cotabato Warriors and also with the Letran Knights, man, sky's the limit para dito sa Nueva Ecija. Ryan Costello comes in for JV Marcelino. 27-16, 11-point lead para dito sa Rice Vanguards. John Hamon against Nick Demuses. Hamon crossing the timeline. Under 3 minutes left here in the first. Hubalde attacks. Can't get it to go. Ayaay with a rebound. The pass to John Wilson. Slams on the bricks. Gets it back to Jesper. Inside Hamito. Demuses. Can't convert underneath. Hamito in there. Gets the bounce.
This has been the key to their success. One of the keys to their success this season. Nueva Ecija, despite this being a very star-studded lineup with arguably the best talent in this season, they are still very much willing to make the right play on the court.
31-16 after that John Wilson bucket. 2 minutes left here in the first. Hubalde against Ryan Costello. Martel. Great cut from the weak side. Dolan Adlawan with a basket. Free throw coming up for Dolan Adlawan. Assist of the game brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet.
Nahuli doon si Nick Demuses trying to rotate on Dolan Adlawan. Again, credit to Lian Martel for making another good pass. Earlier we saw it. He delivered one to Ken Holmqvist right now. Letting go of that rock to find Dolan Adlawan on that left side.
31-18. 13-point lead. Jesper Ayaay. The layup does not go. Hubalde whips a pass to Mark Meneses, who can say free from the left corner.
That three-point shot, especially from the corners, has improved dramatically for Mark Meneses this season.
Shot will not work. Demuses able to send it to Clark Derrigue. Wilson is open. Can't get it to go. Costello giving them another crack at it. Costello against Hubalde. Bola mananatili sa panig ng Nueva Ecija. 3-point shot of the game, and it's sa atin yan ng Extreme, your one-stop shop appliances. This was that free earlier by Mark Meneses. And a stop by Cebu. Just down by 10, 31-21, a chance to trim this down to single digits. Paulo Hubalde against Ryan Costello. Adlawan rolls, lays it up and in. Great two-man game between Hubalde and Adlawan.
Empty corner, ball screen. Paulo Hubalde, he's done that 1,000 times in his career. Adlawan making that good roll to the rack of that magnificent bounce pass thrown by the Aquaman.
Costello, short. 16 seconds left. Adlawan, susugod. Nakakuha ng foul. And 2 more free throws coming up.
Hubalde was actually asking for it. Tried to go for the final shot, but Adlawan had other things in mind. Here though, synergizing well with each other of the two-man game. Adlawan with that basket. He hasn't been doing well from the free throw line though so far here in the first quarter.
9 seconds remaining. Dolan Adlawan. Athletic forward para dito sa Cebu. Siya that dunk that made the top 10 place. 31-24, 7-point lead. Costello crossover, sidestep, floater, will not work. First quarter comes to a close. And Cebu just within striking distance, actually.
To establish a double-digit lead, but Cebu.
Hubalde doing a great job quarterbacking para dito sa Cebu. And they're just down by 7. Special deal from 1xBet. Scan the QR code and claim your special offer. Second quarter on the way here between Cebu and Nueva Ecija.
Second quarter.
Hubalde against Costello. Now turns around. Hubalde forcing it up and in.
That was a tough look, even for him. But still able to fight through that contact, bringing that ball up and in off the bank.
5 lang ang lamang. Costello continues to misfire from the outside. Demuses emphatically bouncing it off Lian Martel.
And despite the taller lineup, Nueva Ecija only out-rebounding Cebu just by 3 here in this game.
Costello tries another one. That one finally rolls out and in for his first 3-point conversion.
A little homecoming of sorts for former Pasig City star player Ryan Costello. He's played in this venue a bunch of times during his stint with Pasig.
Played his best season here with Pasig City. Ito si Ryan Costello. Derige. Balik kay Demuses. Ariaay. Sasalaksak sa loob. He lost control of it on his way up. Ball will go back to Cebu.
The defense of Cebu really turning up a notch in this game compared to those past matches that they had.
JP Calvo making his entry para dito sa Nueva Ecija. He's tasked to guard Paulo Hubalde. 8-point lead, 34-26. Martel thought about it. Hamon jacks up a free, short. Ayaay, forward pass. Calvo in transition. Got blocked by Jan Hamon. May pabaon pang stare down doon si Jan Hamon as Martel barrels through the lane. And a foul called on Nueva Ecija.
Play opportunity, but of course our referees know better.
Yeah, criteria 2, excessive hard contact. That was the reason for that unsportsmanlike foul call. Lian Martel at the line. Former Paranaque Patriot knocks down the first. This free throw brought to you by Extreme, ang subok at kompletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas. Martel gets the friendly bounce on the second. 4 points. Positan 5 now in for the Rice Vanguards. At Lawan almost lost it. Martel spins inside. Wow, what an impressive take from Lian Martel.
Timed that flash very well. He saw that itong si Adlawan was being pressured. Ubalde could not get a hand on the basketball. So he was the pressure release near that free throw line and attacked that defense very aggressively, getting it off the spin.
Martel, now he tries a three. That's too strong. Ball ends up with John Wilson. 2 minutes gone by. Pretty eventful second quarter already. John Wilson casually drains in a three-pointer.
Trailing the play there, and nobody really in front of him except for that effort on that late closeout by Cebu. I think that was Martel who tried to get in front of him, but Wilson already primed for the shot.
7-point lead, Jan Hamon. Ubalde. Calvo committing that foul.
Well, that's going to be a tough cover para kay JP Calvo.
Sixer great move of the game, born for greatness.
Martel with that powerful pirouette and an even more powerful finish coming from the former Paranaque Patriot.
So free throws coming up for Paulo Ubalde. He struggled at the line though. 0 out of 4.
Against Rizal.
And only 60%. 37-31. 6-point lead para dito sa Nueva Ecija. JP Calvo. Lalapit. Lalabas papunta kay Demiuses. Wilson. Traveled. No, actually a double dribble against John Wilson.
And the goal for Cebu now is really to make it difficult para sa Nueva Ecija defensively. They're shifting zones. Sometimes it's a 2-3, sometimes it's a 1-3-1 to try and keep Nueva Ecija guessing.
Martel for 3 off the mark. The Muses with a running start gives it to Jesper Ayaay. Calvo opted not to take that free. They swing the ball around. Jesper Ayaay to a cutting Tosi Tancinco. Basket and one. Chance for a 3-point play para dito kay Tosi Tancinco.
Little give and go action there between him and Jesper Ayaay. Tancinco making that hard cut towards the basket and finishing through the contact.
Tosi, an 84.6% free throw shooter, knocks down that one.
Highly dependable on the free throw line. Ever since. That has been one of his strengths. Itong si Tosi Tancinco.
40-31. 9-point lead. Meneses will bring the ball down against John Wilson. Not his strong suit, but got bailed out by that John Wilson foul.
Definitely a bailout. I was even surprised na iniwan niya siya para magbaba pa ng bola doon.
Now they deny Paulo Ubalde. Now he gets it back against JP Calvo again. Ubalde. Now facing a double team. Release pass to Lian Martel. Free is Jan Hamon for a free. Finally knocks that one down.
Despite the heavy pressure, Cebu just finding a way to hit the open man.
And you're right, Javi. Yung demeanor nitong Cebu ngayon, no? As the Muses finally makes his first field goal here as a Rice Vanguard via a three-pointer.
Well, that's a notice to the rest of the league that, hey guys, I'm back and I can actually score.
Martel gets the put back. 8 points for Lian Martel. Tancinco lines it up. No good. And Cebu getting a stop. 5 minutes and 28 seconds left. Just a 7-point lead for Nueva Ecija. It's the Muses with that free. Ubalde catching it at the elbow. Posting up. Fadeaway jumper over JP Calvo is pure. First guy in double fingers for Cebu with 10 points to go along with his 7 assists. Tancinco inside. The Muses tries another free. Back-to-back threes for Nick the Muses.
I love how he's just picking his spots and not really primarily looking for his shot, as we see the better half of Nick the Muses, Miss Riza Diaz in attendance. He's just letting the game come to him. He's being very patient, but at the same time, he's providing that energy on the defensive end as well.
Mouse in the house. Ubalde was fouled by JP Calvo.
He's gonna try to will this Cebu team to make this a competitive one. Ito si Paolo Hubalde.
3-point shot brought to you by Extreme, your one-stop shop appliances.
3-point shots already in this game for the returning Nick the Muses.
Shooting 2, Paulo Ubalde.
Paolo Ubalde came in averaging around 8 points. Knocks down the first free throw.
Oh, medyo malaking kawalan do yung mga mintis sa free throw nitong Cebu sa laro na to. They're now 5 out of 15 after those 2 misses by the Aquaman.
1 out of 7 at the line. Ito si Paolo Ubalde. Calvo has yet to take a shot. Opting to pass it off to Jammer Amito, who scores.
That guy's taken a lot. And he scored a lot also so far for Nueva Ecija in this game to make this a 10-point lead again.
Double-digit spread. JV Marcelino gets the steal and the basket. And Cebu using their timeout as they try to stymie this uprising nitong Nueva Ecija. Fast break of the game is brought to you by Extreme X Play. On-the-go speaker, take your music anywhere.
One of the best at forcing turnovers and converting it into points in the league. That time, JV Marcelino doing what he does best para sa Rice Vanguards.
Miss Sydney Crespo.
In Coach Don Dulay's own words, Zamboanga is legit. He tells me that the young squad of Coach Egay and Coach Bong deserves to win that game. Yan rin ang sinabi ni Robbie Celi sa akin. Nakita talaga nila yung magandang sistema ng Zamboanga despite being younger than their own core. Napagod daw siya sa sobrang physical ng game at sa effort ng Zamboanga. Pag uwi niya, dun niya daw nakita na marami pala siyang pasa at kalmot sa katawan. Si JC naman was very grateful na makaharap yung team na kung saan sila nagsimula. Nakakapagod daw yung depensa nila kay JC kasi pag dumipensa, buong team talaga. Coach Don emphasized that they are not focusing on the 15-0. Wala ring celebration. Nueva Ecija has a bigger goal this season. Ken Javi?
Maraming salamat, Sid. And she was actually talking about that game of Nueva Ecija against Zamboanga where, like Javi mentioned, a lot of lead changes, a lot of ties. Nasubukan nga yung Nueva Ecija doon. And, Zamboanga made that run for their money there as kaya nga nang binanggit din ni Coach Don Dulay. Not resting on their laurels because they know that other teams are coming up and they have reloaded with guys like Nick the Muses and JP Calvo. Foul though against JP Marcelino on that Dolan and Rawan drive.
And I'm sure they're looking at this game no differently, considering how much it would mean for Cebu, especially with what they've been through this season, to actually be the first ones to pin a defeat on Nueva Ecija this year.
Oh yeah, that would be quite ironic. Coach Don Dulay champion coach back in season 3. Dun din pala naglaro si Nick Demuses for Bacoor in that third season. We have a timeout.
A good outing for his first foray as Nueva Ecija's new main point guard. Ito si JV Marcelino.
50-44, 6-point lead. The starters have come back in for Nueva Ecija. But Cebu getting a stop and a foul. Penalty na ang Nueva Ecija. Free throws coming up for Cebu.
Nueva Ecija is just lucky that Cebu has been missing a lot of their free throws here in the first half. 6 out of 17. This game would have been so much different if kahit kalahati doon sa mga mintis ng Cebu sa free throw line ay pumasok sana.
Si Dolan natatawa na lang as he headed to the line. Ayun, nakapasok ng isa.
Dahil sila ni Paulo yata ang may pinakamaraming attempts dito.
Yeah, 3 out of 6 for Dolan Adlawan. Missing the second. Just 7 out of 19, but despite all that, down by just 5. Rob Cenis, Adlawan with a block. JC strides to the lane, can't convert. Mark Meneses clears it for Cebu. Ubalde for free, yes sir!
You see it in his eyes, Ken. He is gonna do everything in his power. The Aquaman with a booming three-point shot.
2-point lead. Ubalde has 15 points and 8 assists. JV runs into traffic. 2 seconds remaining. Celis momentarily escaping but can't finish. Ubalde. Skip pass to Mark Meneses who tries his 3-point shot. No good. Meneses cuts inside. What a pass from Ken Holmvis.
Holmvis may still be, to most eyes, kind of a raw talent that still can be developed more, but he definitely has a lot of good foundations in his game.
Ooh. Adlawan hit the deck as well as JV Marcelino.
Even our ad board hit the deck too.
Yeah. Baseline inbound for the Rice Vanguards. 1 minute and 12 left here in the second period. Celis. Hambito too strong. And now a chance for the Cebu Classic to take the lead here. Oh, but Ubalde turns it over. Oh, and he's down. Not sure what hit him. Was it his knee?
Well, let's hope it's nothing serious, and we hope that it's gonna be just enough to get him back into the game, because he's gonna be a big loss.
And drills in that mid-range jumper. Last shot time if you're Cebu. Ooh, and they had trouble inbounding the basketball. They give the possession right back to Nueva Ecija.
This is just where it all might change para sa Cebu. Oh!
Emphatic rejection by Mark Meneses. Adlawan just out of control. Tried to get it to Brian Mecca.
Medyo late na rin yung pasa. He could have gone earlier to Mecca.
JC spins around Brian Mecca. And that's gonna do it here in the first half.
In this particular game, 11 points already para sa kanya, but Nueva Ecija only up by 2 at the half.